So I grew up in a Christian home. In fact, it wasn't just Christian, but my dad was my pastor, right? So I was a pastor's kid. Growing up my whole life in church like that, I was able to grow in God's word and to learn more and more about him. Now, that didn't mean I was perfect, but it was that I was being able to learn at an early age about God, and I wanted him. I wanted to live for him. So in 1988, I mean, that's 30 years ago now, Oak Cliff Assembly of God, which is now the Oaks, called my dad to become the pastor. And my dad asked me if I would go with him to be the youth pastor. I'm only 19, right? And so I've just started this thing. I don't even feel like I know what I'm doing. I'm just a kid, but I go, this is cool because I can go down, be the youth pastor at Oak Cliff, and go to Southwestern and get training. This is the youth room that we had up here on the third floor of the Oak Cliff building. Now it's a classroom here. It was big enough that it's a classroom here and a classroom behind here, full classroom like this. Mark did our intro video, welcoming people in.
Hey, are you visiting tonight? Well, come on, let me introduce you to Solar Ministries. I think you're gonna like it.
And then we had everybody go 1, 2, 3, everybody go, yeah, and they all yelled. And then we had the band, welcome to Solar, like this. And it's just crazy. I mean, we're just trying to do the best with what we had. My dad, I remember him sitting me down and saying, son, the vision that God has given us is bigger than what we can do just in the next 10 years or so, bigger than what I can do in my tenure. The leaders of this church are in the kids' church and in the youth ministry. You've got to pour into them and disciple them because they are the future. And it's so awesome how God is. In 2003, God told us to move from Oak Cliff to Red Oak. So we buy property, build a new building, wondering, okay, what are we gonna do? And man, it just, from the moment we open up, God just starts bringing the growth, bringing the people, hundreds and hundreds of people. And the kids ministry just starts blowing up and the youth ministry just continues to grow. That's the growth. Hundreds and hundreds of families coming saying, I want my kid, I want my student being discipled and trained in this environment, in this place. And that's why today is such a big deal, because this is the grand opening of not just a new building, but a whole new season, a whole new next level of doing what God's called us to do. I mean, we got a brand new kids building with new worship spaces that are age appropriate, right on. They're themed out. They're just great spaces to reach more kids. We got a brand new 550 seat auditorium for our youth and for our young adults. Why? Because we want to see young people find Jesus, grow in their faith, grow in their gift, discover their purpose and their calling, whether it's in business or education, or if it's law or whatever it is, if it's pastor or missionary, whatever the call on their life, they'd hear it and they would give themselves, like I did when I was 17, just saying, God, I'll do whatever you want me to do. I'll go wherever you want me to go. That this would be the type of house. This is why we serve. This is why we give. This is why we show up around here. It's not only to worship God in our generation, but to see the next generation become the greatest generation of Christ followers the world has ever seen. This is our legacy. This is our calling. This is our purpose. And this is the vision God's called us to grow generations that transform communities. It always has been, and it always will be.